in a lot of those smaller towns, Barberville-sized towns and smaller.
Yeah.
Did people treat it like, did people get dressed up to go to wrestling? Like, when I say dressed up, dressed in better clothes than maybe they wore during the day. Did people treat it like a social outing in some of these smaller towns than it was?
No. Because the only social outing in Rabbit Ridge, Kentucky, or Wartburg, Tennessee, or War, West Virginia is church and a wedding or a funeral. So wrestling was a chance to go to the local high school or grade school gym or the community center or the outdoors, the football field, wherever they were going to have it, and see the people that were, that you see on TV, the TV stars, the wrestlers, because these people in these towns never, ever saw anybody that was on television in person. And then if you get up to, a town the size of Evansville or obviously Louisville, but, then you would see local news personalities. But in the small towns, they didn't even see that. But it wasn't a thing where they're going to get dressed up to go to the stars are coming to them rather than them going to the stars, right? So, I mean, there were people, this guy used to come in all the time in Evansville. And one night he came in, he had to be 350 pounds, and he was only 5 foot. He wasn't as tall as I was, right? But one night he comes in and it's colder weather, so he's got on long pants and a jacket, and he's eating a fucking turkey leg. While he's buying his ticket, he's got a turkey leg in one hand. He plops his $4 down. He gets his fucking ticket. He's going through now. In Evansville, Teeny and her driver, Donna, at this period of time, Donna Bauer, they sold the tickets in the box office. So they're watching the whole thing. And on the other side of the door where you go through from the ticket taker is where the gimmick table was set up. So I saw the other side of the fucking deal. He's got turkey leg in his left hand. His stomach is so big that his belly is over the top of his pants. And everybody who's lived in the South or had a overweight relative knows what that looks like, right? When you got the belly over the top of the blue jeans. And he's got his wrestling ticket in his right hand. And he's trying to give the ticket taker his ticket, but his pants are falling down. But he's still got that turkey leg he doesn't want to fucking sacrifice. So he's trying to pull his pants up, hand the ticket in, give the turkey leg. They were just regular people. Again, in that part of the territory, it happened in Evansville, and it happened a couple of times in Madisonville, Kentucky, that for quite a while they ran once a month, where a guy would come up and he was like $1 or $1.50 short on the $4 general admission ticket. He would trade Teeny some vegetables from his garden. And then one night from coming home from Evansville, we were going to Lexington the next day, and Teeny and Donna stayed here at the house with me and my mom. And I woke up, go to the bathroom the next morning, and there was Miss Jarrett in the guest room, and she's snapping beans in a fucking basket, getting ready to take them home and cook them. It was just, again, regular people. Tracy Smothers used to tell a story of one of our big shows in Pikeville, right outside no, it was Hazard. Come to think, it was Hazard, right outside the Hazard gym, the memorial gym there. It sits on a hill. And these two guys came up riding a fucking donkey to the matches that they rode from their house. And then they got off and slapped him on the ass, and he went off back home by himself. So there was not a lot of wrestling at the Chase type suit wearing formal gowns, anything, but they came and spent their money over and over and over again.
There used to be a fan in Barberville that was dressed like one of the members of the Rock and Roll Express. When was the first time you started seeing fans dressed like wrestlers?
Oh, God. Evansville's going to come up again. I've told this story, but there was a couple named Joyce and John that always came to the matches in Evansville and brought, I guess it was her mother, and her mother had a son Junior, and then Joyce and John brought their kids, John Jr. and David from the time he was like 6 or 7 years old, this woman would make little miniature Bill Dundee jumpsuit outfits. Like Dundee started wearing the jumpsuits like Elvis, right? And so this woman made him some that he would wear, because she really was good at it. He'd wear on TV and wear at the matches or whatever, but made her son, David, the matching Bill Dundee jumpsuits when he's like 7 or 8 years old. Well, it was fucking cute as shit, right? Until he got to be 14 and he's the jacket kid. And he's a 14-year-old boy now. He's wearing Bill Dundee jumpsuits and taking the jackets at the ring. He was poor fella. But again, when the Rock and Roll Express got hot, even in Tennessee at the spot shows, you'd see some of the girls, but especially then in Louisiana, the bandanas. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's Van Halen. Okay, yes, that's where the Rock and Roll Express got it from. But I guarantee you, I saw these crowds in these towns from the month before the Rock and Roll Express showed up to the month afterwards. There was an extra 30% of the crowd was females 21 and under wearing bandanas and etc. And, it just depended on who the hot baby face was in that particular territory at that time. But you did start to have, the cosplaying in wrestling is nothing new. It's just in the days of the territory, it was restricted to the fans in the crowd instead of the wrestlers in the ring.
Any Lawler fans ever show up with a crown and a cape?
Okay. I don't think anybody ever went the cape route. There was a couple or three that would try to do the crown thing, but a lot of wise ass guys, especially in Memphis during the mid 70s, were the Lawler fans like that. Like in the late 50s, the Sputnik fans were all, he was a heel, but besides the African American community, which was a whole nother story, Sputnik's fans were high school guys, like 14 to 18, to the point where they've said if you go back in a lot of high school yearbooks in 1959, 1960, there's guys of that age with a white streak bleached in their fucking front of their head like Sputnik. Then they got to live with that for the rest of their life or whatever. So it just depends. But yeah, there's always been fans that wanted to emulate or dress like or act like or, support in some respect their favorite wrestler, just like Star Trek fans or football fans or any other kind of fans.
A lot of awkward Buddy Rogers fans had to sit at the dinner table and explain to their parents what they did.
Yeah, with the bleached hair. It was Rock Riddle.
Yeah, that's right, actually.
That Rock Riddle, who later became a manager and wrestler very briefly and was once made a famous appearance on the Gong Show.
And Soupy Sales.
Look up Rock Riddle Gong Show on YouTube. I bet it's there. But he actually started out as the fan club president for Rip Hawk and Swede Hansen and bleached their hair blonde like his heroes. And that was astonishing because back in those days, a fan did not become a wrestler. A public fan that was corresponding with people in the fucking magazines and being a fan club president almost never became a wrestler in those days. So that was pretty spad. I never got on the Gong Show, for heaven's sake. That was almost unheard of. You could become a professional wrestler, but you couldn't get on the Gong Show.
J.P. Morgan.
Boy, what a mouth she had on her.
Well, it was a different part of her body that got them kicked off the air, I believe.
Well, she did, who did she flash?
I think it was Jean the dancing machine just dancing around and she got really excited and decided to flash everyone?
That is something like that. But it caused a little more trouble than Drew Barrymore on David Letterman. We're going to have to talk about wrestling sooner or later here on the program, I guess. But we can avoid it just another couple of minutes by telling the folks about the incredible opportunity they have to have a good, healthy breakfast, right?
What an opportunity.
What an opportunity for one of the first times ever, folks. You can actually eat breakfast and not feel guilty after. And I'm not talking about whatever you may have done the night before or wherever you may have woken up or whoever you may have woken up with. I'm talking about not feeling guilty about the breakfast you eat before you take your walk of shame. And that's what you're going to need the folks at Magic Spoon for. Because Magic Spoon is going to make sure that you are guilt-free. You can go out, sleep with anybody, commit any acts you want, even if they're banned in that state. There's still several states that don't have laws against bestiality.
I was going to let you keep going because it wasn't too bad yet, and then you cross the line, and then you just keep jumping over that line. But you will be guilty of anything you are guilty of, but when it comes to food you ingest, when it comes to your breakfast, you will have no guilt with Magic Spoon.
It's guilt-free cereal because, as a kid, all those cereals were just filled with junk. They were filled with various things like carbohydrates and sugar and things that would rot your teeth and all kinds of street drugs that were manufactured under a bathroom sink. That's what those old cereals had in them. But now this new cereal, no more street drugs manufactured under a bathroom sink for this stuff. No, this stuff has been formulated in the finest laboratory. I'm telling you, you'll see unicorns, lollipops, and rainbows on this stuff. It's got 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 to 5 net grams of carbs in each serving. Low carb, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and only 140 calories a serving. You know what that means. That means you can shovel this stuff in your pie hole all day long and still not be so fat that you don't have a waistline, you got a coastline.
It would probably be advisable to have portion control, even though it is healthy and delicious and nutritious.
If I were you, I'd just get the entire variety bundle of this whole thing, your custom bundle, and just start eating it by the handfuls and don't stop until you're covered in various effluvia that's running out of you, because it's that good.
No, stop when you're full, and there'll be more when you need more.
Stop when you're full, they'll make more, and they do make more, but you need to buy it all, or elsewise they'll stop making it because it'll be unsuccessful. What kind of asshole do you want to be the people that put Magic Spoon out of business? So get some for your neighbors. Right now, cocoa, fruity, frosted peanut butter, blueberry muffin, maple waffle, honey nut, cookies and cream, cinnamon roll, peanut butter and motor oil. I'm just seeing if you're still paying attention.
Disc golf.
Folks, right in the disc golf right now. Grab the custom bundle, the variety package. You can get all you want of anything you want. And all you got to do is go to magicspoon.com/Jim. Use the code JIM at checkout to save $5 off. It's backed with 100% happiness guarantee. Not only will you not feel guilty for eating this or anything you've done before you ate this, but this stuff is once you take the first bite, you'll get happy. And it lasts about 3 or 4 hours till it wears off, and then eat some more and you'll be happy again. You'll be positively slap happy by the time you get finished with Magic Spoon. And if you don't like it, as we mentioned, for any reason, they will give you your money back. No questions asked. You will be forced to fill out a lengthy questionnaire later.
No questions asked. Let's just
They're not going to ask them verbally, but there's written material you've got to go through.
There will be no
You do have to fill out some forms. And there is also, you need to have things notarized. And
no, you don't.
Yeah,
no,
and potentially witnessed
even with
by
this,
an
you
adult.
go too far. Even with this,
You've got to have some of these things witnessed by an adult, not a member of your family or living with you, and a legal resident of that state. Magicspoon.com/Jim. Use the code JIM to save $5 off it. You can save $5 even if you're an illegal alien.
Again,
just don't tell the Republicans. They'll send you to Martha's Vineyard. Did you hear about this now? It's some kind of stunt. They're sending all the migrants from the border in Texas to Martha's Vineyard. So now they've established the precedent. If you show up demanding asylum at the border, they're going to send you to live in Martha's Vineyard. Within a week, every citizen of Jackson, Mississippi is going to be headed to the Rio Grande. Magicspoon.com/Jim. /Jim, $5
Jim.
off.
That's right. Awful.